The hunt for the best budget knife of 2023 continues, and CJRB has thrown their hat in the ring yet again. And I think that they're starting to take this seriously because this is the second knife that they've sent me. And guys, I have to tell you, this is one that I'm very, very excited about. This is the CJRB Riff, and it's yet another button lock design from CJRB, which is yet another contender for an amazing button lock design here in 2023. And guess what? It's also inexpensive. It's under $100. It's somewhere in the $50 to $70 price range, depending upon what you get. And I'm excited because this is one that many of you have been asking for. You see, whenever I do a video on a CJRB design, I'm always told you should check out this one, or that's cool, check out this one. And it just keeps getting better. The menagerie smorgasbord of knife excellence continues, and I'm excited to talk about this one. Let's not waste any more time. This is the CJRB Riff. Let's check it out. Look, you know I love what you're doing with the button locks and everything, but we got to stop meeting like this. People are going to start asking questions. Just kidding. CJRB, if you didn't know, they've been absolutely smashing the button lock game lately. By the way, keep these silica gel packets. They're great for drying out cell phones if they ever get wet. We're whizzing through this unboxing because look, if you haven't seen my other CJRB button lock videos, I'll link the one for the last one I did up there in the corner for the Echo. The packaging is the same. Love their pouches, very plush. But I know why you're here. Let's not beat around the bush. You're here to see this. This is the CJRB Riff, and it's yet another button lock from CJRB. You know, the same people who did the Echo and also the very notorious Pyrite. And here they are, guys. Three of arguably the best budget button locks to hit the market here in 2023. And I've said it a lot. I've said that here in 2023, we're going to be getting a lot of great knives, especially knives under the $100 price point. And all three of these have some things in common. They all have AR RPM 9 steel. They're all made by CJRB, and they're all fantastic. And you know, when I started this journey, initially it started with the Warney Pyrite. And this is a great knife. This is a knife that other channels as of last year said, this is evergreen, it's amazing. And you know, in all fairness, it's really good. And then I got the Echo from CJRB, and I was like, you know, the Pyrite is good, but the Echo is better, you know, potentially the best budget button lock that we're going to see here in 2023. And then this arrived. This is the CJRB Riff. I'm going to go ahead and post the specs in the corner, but I don't want to take away from just how cool this knife is. The Riff is the biggest of the three CJRB button locks that I've checked out so far. And it's also got a few things that I really like about it. First and foremost, let's talk about the handle scale material. This is green micarta, and the green micarta is excellent. It feels really good. This is the biggest one that I've tried out so far, and this feel in the hand is perfect. Wow. Something that I'm attracted to is this clip point blade with the deep belly and this full body length fuller that kind of extends into the tip of the blade. I love reverse flicking knives. It's no surprise, or at least it shouldn't be. And the action on here is perfect. There is no lock stick on that button whatsoever. And it does, of course, have a flipper tab. The flipper tab does lack jimping, but you know what doesn't? The spine of that blade. The spine of the blade has more than adequate jimping. Not quite sawtooth, but it's also not a cursory amount of jimping. That is perfect in a saber grip. Now in a reverse grip, it also feels great. So this is going to be one of those knives that's going to be really difficult to put down because the ergos are fantastic. The AR RPM 9 steel is also a great steel as well. It's running on bearings, and so the action is smooth. Single-sided captive pivot with that black pivot ring. For those of you who like lanyards, you can, of course, put a lanyard on there. I wouldn't, but you can. One of the things I'm not a huge fan of is the pocket clip, and that's actually just an aesthetic preference. Functionally speaking, this slides in and out of the pocket very, very easily. We've got T6 body screws, T8 pivot, and this clip point blade, which is super solid. The action will guillotine shut when you close the button, making this extremely fidgety. I'm impressed. It seems like every time I think that they can't outdo themselves, they turn around and outdo themselves. Now, while this is the biggest of the button lock offerings that I've tried so far, it's not necessarily a huge chonky knife. This is a full-size carry right here. And it's going to be one that ultimately does a great job sitting in your pocket and getting the work done. I appreciate the chamfering here on the handle scales, right where your index finger is going to rest. I appreciate the fuller instead of a deployment hole. I actually prefer fullers over deployment holes. I feel like they're easier to index, they're easier to deploy. You can slow roll this out, no problem. The flipper tab is very responsive, and the action is smooth. The balance point is going to be right where you would place your index finger, which is perfect because it's going to feel nice and balanced in the hands. We don't have too many body screws. The pocket clip is my only point of contention, and that's for two reasons. First, aesthetically, I'm not a huge fan, but it does work well. I wish that it was inset into those handle scales, but that's okay. That's a tiny little nitpick. At least the pocket clip screws themselves are flathead screws. They're not dome head, and I definitely appreciate that. I also really like the fact that the handle scales curve down so that when you do put it in a reverse grip, your thumb has somewhere to cap off. That's fantastic. And when I say that this is a bigger knife, yes, I could, of course, put it against the Echo, and you would see first and foremost, yes, it's bigger than the Echo. But let's go ahead and put it against another full-size knife. Let's do the Spyderco Manix 2. This is a lot of everyone's favorite Spydercos to carry, and you're going to find out that it's actually a little bit longer than the Manix 2. The blade profile is going to be very similar, so it's going to carry similarly to a Manix 2 in the pocket. Let's see how thick she is. Yeah, so it's a tiny bit thicker than the Manix 2, but not by a huge amount. Guys, for the price tag, this is a phenomenal carry. This is going to check a lot of boxes for a lot of people, and I feel like I've jinxed myself. Every time I pick up a CJRB button lock, this is the best one they've done so far. Well, they've outdone themselves again because the Riff is definitely my favorite that they've done so far. And you know what? Bring it on. Bring it on. What else is next? What's next? How can you possibly hit the budget button lock game this hard and achieve something harder than this? I love the shape of the blade. I love the fuller. I love the micarta handle scales. I don't love the pocket clip, but you know what? CJRB/Artisan Cutlery, they do make an aftermarket milled titanium clip that would fit there. And so, you know what? It's not a huge deal to me. The pocket clips, first and foremost, they need to be functional. Secondly, they need to not interrupt ergonomics. And lastly, it helps when they look good. In this case, you know, it doesn't really help in the aesthetics department, but I can live with that. I really enjoy the pivot. The fact that it's a single-sided captive pivot is nice. We do have some billboarding on the blade, but honestly, I don't really mind it. It says CJRB on one side, and then it's got the steel and the model number on the other side. They did a great job on this. And I think if you like a knife that is a true full-size knife, you like button locks with good action, you're a fan of micarta and AR RPM 9, I think that this is definitely one that you should check out. But if you haven't seen my video on the Echo, or if you haven't seen my video on the Pyrite, make sure to click that button next.